At that phase in your life, were you battling somewhat with your North Star, that light you referenced earlier, which was dancing, but also your 9 to 5?
Yeah.
And tell me about that battle and how dance ultimately ended up winning.
I remember always having this bounce in my step. Like I would walk to work in the middle of New York City, choreographing in my head, listening to the song I was performing. Like I in a weird way was like embodying this life of what I wanted to be. And then I would get to the office and I would do my work. And, once again, like I love the Steve Martin quote of "Be so good they can't ignore you." Like whatever work I do in my life, I will do 150% if I say yes. But I knew that something was wrong. I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to feel like I was hiding so much of who I was. And as my 9 to 5, which by the way, in consulting isn't a 9 to 5, you work like 80 hours a week. I mean, that was my life. And as I realized that if I wanted to commit to that career path, that 80 was probably going to go to 90, it was going to go to 100, was going to be traveling. And I was going to have to say no more and more to the thing I loved. I just realized I wasn't willing to make that trade-off. And I think that's sometimes the hardest thing people have to think about is, what are you sacrificing? What's the trade-off in your life that you're making? And I just wasn't willing to make it at that point. And I had done so much in my life at that point where I felt like I had achieved, according to everyone else, enough to start taking a little bit of a path to being rebellious, right? And I think that's really when I started to do a lot of work to say, what can I do to bring all parts of me to the table?
When you make that decision to leave Bain & Company,
yeah,
the management consulting firm in New York, was there like a series of catalytic sort of moments or pivotal moments near the end of your time there that made you think, oh, fuck this? Like I read about a meeting you had, a performance review.
Yeah, so it's literally the opening of my book. But, a few things happen, I would say. So first of all, most people stay in consulting like at this job for about 3 years, then you go off to business school. It's sort of the usual route people take. So I was in my 3rd year there, and a few people can kind of stay on and just continue there. I really wasn't interested in going to business school at the time. I wanted to live. I wanted to be in New York City and feel the energy of it. And so in my 3rd year, I had a performance at in the middle of Times Square for this big unveiling of Aishwarya Rai's Madame Tussauds statue, which was an important thing. And Aishwarya Rai is one of my icons, especially as a dancer. She's a huge Bollywood actress. And the week before, a client meeting gets scheduled at the same time as my performance. And my clients are big clients. These are Fortune 500 companies. These aren't small clients by any means. And we're meeting like the CEOs, CFOs of the company. And I remember talking to my boss saying, hey, you know what? I really want to go to the performance. I'm not like a big part of this meeting. Is it okay if I miss it? And we talked about it really briefly. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't feel bad about it. I went to the performance. It went well. A few months later, we're sitting down talking about, review, and she's like giving me feedback. And she says this thing to me, which just triggered me. And it was, is this the job you really want? Like, I don't think that you want to be a consultant. And I took that in my heart as, oh my gosh, she doesn't think I'm good enough, right? And I just kind of went through how throughout my life, I've been taught to be type A. Everyone tell me I've done a good job. And so my initial reaction to her saying that to me was, I'm going to prove to you how good I am, right? That's like the natural type A reaction is to say, no, what do you mean? Like, I love this job. I really want to be here. And the more I started thinking about that, the more I realized she was right. I didn't want to be there. It was not the life I wanted. It was not the career I wanted. And that's when I decided to start looking at other jobs that would give me a bit more of the flexibility I wanted in my day-to-day, but still pay the bills.